You don't have a time problem. You have a yes problem. Every time someone asks you for something, and you say yes, even when you don't want to, you're not being kind. You're making a trade. Your time for their comfort. Your energy for their approval. And at first, it feels small. Just a quick favor. Just 5 minutes. Just helping someone out. But those small yeses don't stay small. They stack. They grow. And slowly, without realizing it, your life stops being yours. Here's the part most people never see coming. The more available you become, the less valuable you are perceived. People stop asking. They start expecting. And one day, you wake up tired, behind, frustrated, wondering why your life isn't moving forward, even though you've been busy all day. So the real question is this: what is it actually costing you to keep saying yes? David was the kind of man everyone liked. 35, delivery driver, working about 10 hours a day. He made around $2,400 a month. Not rich, not struggling, just getting by. But what made David different was that he never said no. If a coworker needed a shift covered, David said yes. If a neighbor needed help fixing something, David showed up. If a friend called at 10 p.m. just to vent, David listened. At first, it felt good. People appreciated him. They smiled when they saw him. They trusted him. But slowly, something started to change. Requests became expectations. Hey David, you can take this, right? You're free tonight, right? You don't mind, right? And David always smiled. Yeah, no problem. Even when it was a problem, he started skipping meals to save time, canceled his own plans, delayed things he needed to do. But the strange part, no matter how much he gave, it never felt like enough. But then, things started to slip. Here's the part nobody tells you. The more David said yes, the less his life moved forward. He was working longer hours, but saving less money. At the end of the month, he still had barely $200 left. His fridge was often half empty, not because he couldn't afford food, but because he never made time to buy it. He was always helping someone else. At work, people stopped respecting his time. They would hand him extra tasks without asking. David will handle it. And he did, every time, until one night, he missed something that mattered. His son had a small school performance. Nothing big, just a simple show. But his son had been talking about it for weeks. David promised he would be there. Then, a coworker called. Hey man, I really need help tonight. And without thinking, David said yes. By the time he finished, it was too late. When he got home, his son was asleep. On the table, a small drawing, 2 stick figures, one labeled me, the other crossed out. And underneath it, you didn't come. That night, David didn't sleep, because for the first time, he saw the real cost of his yes. But the real shift hadn't happened yet. The next morning, David felt something different. Not just tired, clear. He sat in his truck before work, staring at the steering wheel, and asked himself one question. When was the last time I chose my own life? He couldn't answer. That's when an older man approached his window, a regular at the warehouse, quiet, observant. He looked at David and said, "You look like a man who's been saying yes too much." David gave a tired smile. "Feels like I don't have a choice." The old man shook his head slowly. "That's the lie." Then he said something David wouldn't forget. "If it's not a clear yes, it's a no." David frowned. "That sounds simple." "It is," the man replied. "That's why most people avoid it." But the real lesson was just beginning. As Aaron stepped outside, people started approaching him. "Hey, I need some help just a minute. Why do you always do things that way? Can you explain something to me? And like always, he stopped. He listened. He explained. He gave. But while he was talking, the wind picked up. The flame flickered. Then, someone bumped into him. A little oil spilled. Then, another interruption. Another explanation. Another distraction. Until suddenly, the flame went out. Aaron stood there, in the dark. And when he came back inside, the old man simply said, "That's your life." Then he gave him a simple system. The energy rule, 5 steps. Stop explaining to people committed to misunderstanding. Limit help to what you can sustain daily. Walk away from low-value conversations. Protect your time like money. Give deeply, but only to the right people. This is where most people get it wrong, the man said. They think being good means giving endlessly, but real strength is knowing where to stop. The next few days, David started changing. A coworker asked him to cover a shift. Normally, he would say yes instantly. This time, he paused. "I can't tonight." Silence. The coworker looked surprised. "Oh, okay, that was it. New argument. No drama. Just over." But inside David, it felt heavy, like he had done something wrong. That feeling stayed for hours. But something else happened too. He got home earlier, cooked a real meal, sat down with his son, and for the first time in weeks, he wasn't distracted. The next day, a friend called to vent for an hour. David said, "I can talk for 10 minutes. Not an hour, 10 minutes." At first, it felt unnatural, but over time, something shifted. He had energy again, started saving money, even just $50 a week. His mind felt quieter, his time felt his. But then came the real test. 1 week later, his manager called him in. "We need you to stay late tonight." David knew what that meant. Extra hours, no extra pay. It had happened before, and every time he said yes, because he didn't want to disappoint anyone, because he didn't want conflict, because he wanted to be seen as the good one. The manager looked at him. "You're the only one I can count on." That line used to work every time. But now, David felt that same pause, that same moment of truth. Inside, he knew if he said yes, he would lose something again. Maybe dinner with his son, maybe rest, maybe himself. The old version of him stepped forward. "Just say yes, it's easier." But then he remembered the drawing. "You didn't come." His chest tightened. He took a breath, and for the first time, he said it clearly. "I can't stay tonight." The room went quiet. The manager frowned. "Really? I thought I could count on you." There it was. Pressure, guilt, expectation. This was the moment most people break. This was where he used to break. His heart started racing. His mind screamed, "Explain it, justify it, fix it." But he didn't. He stood there, calm, unmoving, because now he understood something powerful. Respect doesn't come from saying yes. It comes from having boundaries. After a few seconds, the manager nodded. "All right, that was it. No explosion, no punishment, just acceptance." And in that moment, David didn't lose his job. He didn't lose respect. He gained something far more important: control. Most people think their life is stuck because they need more time, more money, more opportunities. But that's not the real problem. The real problem is this: they've given away control, one yes at a time. You don't need to say yes to be a good person. You don't need to explain yourself to be understood. And you definitely don't need to sacrifice your life just to keep others comfortable. Because every time you say yes without thinking, you are choosing a life that isn't yours. So next time someone asks you for something, pause. Listen to that first honest answer inside you. And if it's not a clear yes, have the courage to say no, because that's not rejection. That's self-respect. If this hit you at the right moment, come on, no. And if you're ready to take your life back, subscribe for more stories that actually change how you live.